across rural Alaska, our elementary and high school students are discovering that science isn't found only in the pages of a textbook or within the walls of a laboratory. Science is at work beyond their schoolhouse doors, in the familiar surroundings of their lives. The sky and the land become their classrooms. The water, the animals, and the plants they live with replace their textbooks. The people they know in their communities, especially their elders, become their teachers, revealing a body of complex knowledge built upon centuries of close observation and interaction with the world, and in the process, nourishing the roots that anchor them all to their world and define them as a people. Here in Kotzebue's National Guard Armory, the Northwest Arctic Borough School District hosts its second annual Arctic Regional ACES Science Fair. ACES, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society, is a professional organization of American Indian and Alaska Native scientists, engineers, and science educators. Across the country, ACES encourages Indigenous students to pursue careers in the sciences, mathematics, and engineering by supporting enrichment activities like this science fair.
You got this off the internet?
Yes.
This year, 56 5th to 12th graders from Buckland, Deering, Kayana, Noatak, Norvik, Selawik, Shishmaref, Nome, and Kotzebue have entered a total of 25 individual and team projects, double the number from last year's fair. ACES guidelines require every project to be judged for both scientific and cultural content. The science judges are experienced science teachers. They score each project on its application of Western scientific method, the clarity of the problem statement and hypothesis, the thoroughness of experiments, data collection, analysis, and results. The cultural judges are Native elders, teachers, or community volunteers. They score each project for its relevance to Inupiaq values, for the contribution the project makes to the students' home community, and for the scientific information learned from elders or others in the community. Both judges score for originality, creativity, and such technical points as grammar, spelling, presentation, and neatness. Using an interview format, participants must explain their projects in detail, give demonstrations if appropriate, and answer any questions that judges may ask regarding their work. For Deborah Worley, an 11-year teacher from Noatak and a fair organizer, the interview process is a key component of the science fair experience for the students.
Our beginning interviews a couple years ago were really a problem. The students were shy, they weren't used to being interviewed, they didn't have a lot of confidence. And now to see those same students get interviewed a few years later after they've had a couple of experiences, there's tremendous growth on how they're able to talk confidently about their work. And I think whether they go into a science field or another field, those skills are really going to be an advantage for them. Gosh, just that 1 point, they tied for first place elders and only a 1 point different on the science verse. In the elementary school, the grand prize project was a team project, and it was, what's your name?
The grand prize winners go on to compete in the National ACES Science Fair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But, prize winners or not, all the participants will return home with a stronger sense of self-confidence and the pride that comes from accomplishing a difficult task well. Teachers and science fair organizers hope that such positive experiences lead to improved academic performance in math and science. But how can this enthusiasm for science be sustained and nurtured in these youngsters when the science fair is over and the school year ends? A group of Juneau-based educators believe they've found an answer.
Permafrost.
Summer along the Yukon River. In Galena, as in many other communities across rural Alaska, most of the residents are out at their fish camps following a centuries-old seasonal tradition. This past summer, however, junior high school students from all corners of the state came to Galena to experience a different kind of camp, the Alaska Native Student Wilderness Enrichment Retreat, Answer Camp.
On your mark, get set, go!
Come on, come on! Woo! Woo! We're gonna win! Okay, we're gonna...
Answer Camp is a project of the Southeast Regional Resource Center. It was and is funded by a U.S. Department of Education grant, funds targeted specifically for Alaska Native students. And specifically this pool of money is to provide an enrichment experience for Native students that are in the 7th and 8th grade that will help them to succeed in high school. The students that were accepted to become campers at Answer Camp come from 69 different communities. We looked for students of all ability levels, so we weren't accepting or trying to call a group of A students. We weren't trying to solicit a group of students that were very at risk. Any student that applied was considered regardless of their abilities.
I am a teacher, but I'm on vacation.
From a statewide pool of 250 applicants, 180 were invited to attend one of 3 week-long Answer Camp sessions. Using the facilities of Galena's Project Education Charter School, 60 Answer Campers experienced an intense and highly structured mix of academic, cultural, and recreational activities each week.
Our objectives for Answer Camp is that students will understand and apply skills of scientific inquiry as a result of their experience, that they'll also exhibit an awareness and appreciation of Native ways of knowing with regard to problem solving, and that they'll be able to compare and contrast both and make decisions about which set of skills would best suit the problem at hand or how to integrate. In addition to that, we wanted to have students increase their science vocabulary and specific content and then demonstrate an improved attitude about science and math.
To meet these ambitious goals, the Answer Camp staff designed a curriculum centered on 5 core science units: changing states of matter through the study of drying salmon, the identification, collection, and uses of medicinal plants, the chemistry of photography linked to storytelling, the process of composting as a form of organic waste management, and the application of science to traditional village activities. Each unit was taught by a 2-person team consisting of a science teacher and a cultural expert.
Looking at the measurements, it doesn't look like it shrunk, huh? But what effects do you see of it drying? What can you... Okay, but where does it look like it might be shrinking back from? Is there any place?
These students have taken salmon, cut them into strips, and then they weighed them the first day. They determined the mass, and then they also recorded characteristics of the strips, the length of the strip, the width, the thickness, whether or not there were cross cuts. And now they're daily recording the mass and the length of the strips to see what kind of changes the strips incur as they dry.
They did get longer.
They did get longer?
Yeah.
How much?
Half an inch. Half an inch.
Half an inch. That's sizable.
Make sure that if you're going to make a basket. If I were you, I'd get Helen to show you how to put a willow around the top. You ready? Okay.
The sharing of native knowledge and cultural values was an integral part of the Answer Camp program.
We're an Athabascan country, and those are the values that we're emphasizing because we are here, and those are the elders that are available to come and want to share the importance of their culture with students from all over the state.
Awesome.
See? You have to get your own.
When students leave Answer Camp, my hope is that they're going to walk away with an enhanced appreciation of Native ways of knowing, that they'll walk away with an improved attitude about science, and then of course I'm hoping they're going to walk away with new science tools in their kits in terms of being able to know how to solve science-based problems, both from a typical Western science inquiry process-oriented method and a native way of knowing method.
The Southeast Regional Resource Center will be adding a second Answer Camp in 1999 and have plans for a third by the year 2000. At a camp along a stretch of beach on Afognak Island north of Kodiak, a small group of young children, elders, and teachers gathered for a week of sharing and discovery. The beach is called Cottony. The camp, the Academy of Elders ASA Science Camp, is a cooperative venture of the Kodiak Area Native Association, the Afognak Native Corporation, and the Kodiak Island Borough School District.
The purpose of this camp is first of all to bring together elders with other community members and educators, both teachers and teachers' aides, new teachers and teachers that have been in Kodiak for a long time, along with students. Bring them together in this outside setting that is so natural for our children to be in, and very natural for many of our elders to be in, to get that sense of community, the community in which we live, the community that we're a part of. We also are providing the opportunity for the children as well as the teachers to learn firsthand from elders and other community members traditional ways of doing things and the values that go along with that, bringing together the values of our native people with Western science and the exploration of science as we see it here in Kodiak. We'd like to be stimulating interest in the sciences and technology and mathematics among our kids. And the way we do that is to explore our surroundings and explore traditional ways of doing things and show kids the science that is involved in traditional ways of thinking and doing things.
This is the part of fire making that's critical. If you can't do this, you can't make a fire. Blow gently.
Do you have any idea of what's going to work here? What's your hypothesis? Which one do you believe is going to work?
I think the hardware sale.
So it went from 200 to 225.
We'd like to be developing curriculum that that integrates indigenous ways of doing things, indigenous knowledge into the current of Western science as we know it today. And ultimately we'd like to explore the rich culture and heritage of the Alutiiq people, both from the past and also in the present.
Say the magic words.
Specific gravity.
Okay. And the specific gravity of gasoline is more or less than pumice?
Less.
Less. Specific gravity of pumice is more or less than oil? Less. Very good. Hey, Eureka.
Called a midden pile. This is where they dump their garbage. And what they're doing with the bones is looking at...
The camp shared the facilities of the Afognak Native Corporation's Dig Afognak Archaeological Project. This presented the children with an opportunity to see firsthand what archaeologists do by actually participating in the excavation work at the dig site.
Found another full shell. Well, that
wow.
was big.
Go ahead and just plop it in there. Don't worry about cleaning it.
Oh,
go.
That's a big one.
That's a good one.
All three of you seem to have done better with the thin rocks than the thick rocks. Can we come to a scientific conclusion? Which rocks get better?
Thin.
Thin rocks get better.
But you know what? I can take this home.
Yeah, because that's part of your experiment.
I'll show my mom and I'll do the project there.
You can do that. Well, do you know where you know that you're going to have to enter this in a science fair? Great. Right? Yeah, you are.
It's our desire that the students who leave this camp leave with a framework or even a completed science project so that they will go back to their home village and be able to share that with other students and their own families. Ultimately, we want the kids to enter their projects into the Rural Science Fair, which will take place here around the district in November.
So, is the harbor seal...
Everyone that I've spoken to here has said that it's worth doing. It's worth doing at this time of year, during the summertime when we don't think of school going on. It's worth doing here on a beach like Katani. It's worth doing when we look at the archaeology that's going on and the science applications that are going on. And when I speak with the elders, what they say is that they're very proud of what's happening here, both as a community building experience and also educationally, to see how much their children know. It makes them very proud.
On a rainy weekend in late November, the Old Harbor School bustles with young scientists here for Kodiak Island's first ACES Science Fair.
We've got 29 projects that came, and a lot of kids that are really enthusiastic about being here. Lots of positive comments from the judges, and the judges are very impressed with the quality of projects, the quality of work, and the quality of presentation from the kids.
Just as in Kotzebue, all projects here in Old Harbor will be judged on their scientific and cultural merits. 2 grand champions will then advance to the National ACES Science Fair.
So did fall track. We did this at science camp, and is what is the best bait to catch a weasel? My hypothesis, the best kind of bait would be dog salmon, fresh deer, or any other kind of meat, because weasels like meat. I found that weasels didn't like the meat that I had used. They do eat meat, but they're picky because they didn't eat the meat that I put out. I chose this because we were trapping there, and I thought it was fun, and I liked it, so that's why I chose it.
Very good, Will. Very good.
Those were all the questions about the wood, what would burn the hardest, and what I learned. See that part that holds up those 2 parts? When it tries to eat it, it removes the stick.
Whoa! So that's how they do it. What's exciting about the top 4 is that four of those kids were all at camp this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Kelsey and Tasha. Janessa didn't go, but that's Tasha's partner. And then Ralph and Josephine, those 4 top ones. Wow. With the highest scores.
Wow.
Were at camp.
Interesting. Huh?
And then the high score over here, Patrick, was also at camp. So that's pretty cool. The top 2 prizes that will be going to Albuquerque, New Mexico are Janessa and Tasha. And Kelsey Peterson.
We may hesitate to call our subsistence way of life science, but what our elders have taught us about our world is scientific. With their knowledge, and with the support of parents, communities, and teachers, our children are making the connection between their world and the world of science, showing us all what they know and making us proud.